Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Navigating Purpose with Temi. Today I have a very special guest, someone who is very dear to me, and I met her about 10 years ago on a family vacation in Dubai. We haven't really been in touch, but I followed her content a lot on social media, and I'm sure that you would just be as pleased as I am to hear about her and hear about her journey towards navigating purpose and becoming the woman that she is today. She's a proficient communicator who runs a reinvention and evolution agency called the YBB Company. The organization creates unique solutions that enables people reinvent and reposition themselves, which in turn builds inner capacity and human connection. She also serves as the executive director of Finchglow Holdings, a group of 7 companies in aviation, travel, and the tourism industry. And she oversees corporate communications, product design, customer, and brand experience. Her professional journey began about 2 decades ago in the marketing and communications industry. She's an author and a speaker with various courses, ebooks, audio experiences, as well as events. Please join me in welcoming my very passionate and beautiful auntie who enjoys sharing her knowledge on living and leading authentically. Let's welcome Yetunde Bankole Bernard. Hi, auntie.
Oh, come on. Like, are you
So the
kidding?
thing is,
So this is why we're here today.
it's Auntie YBB.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding?
It's Auntie YBB.
No, it's why we're here today.
It's Auntie YBB. I've known her for so long, and she's just such an inspiration. But I'll try Yetunde Bankole Bernard.
So just YBB, that's
or
fine.
Auntie YBB. But just pardon me through it all.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I literally, had this conversation with my godfather, and he called her up and was like, let's do this, and she just agreed to it. So just thank you so much for coming on this journey with me towards navigating purpose. Just so tell me about life growing up. What was life growing up for you?
Life growing up. So I am the last child in a family of 5 kids. My immediate brother was 11 years older. Before him, my sister 13 years older. Before her, my brother 15 years older, and the first 17 years older. So I grew up old. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I feel like I always knew what to do, how to do what to do, and I was just very introspective. Obviously with hindsight, now I know that's what it was. But before I was just like, I grew up with siblings, but I grew up alone. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, they were just in some different generation. And, I grew up looking at them and seeing them experience life and making my own deductions. Like, so that's what they do here.
My mantra for 2024 is soft girl era.
Let's go.
So yeah, I love that.
Let's go. I'm all for it.
Oh my goodness.
It's soft life.
Yeah. So let's talk about navigating life in your 20s and how it was different from your 30s. So what started this podcast or this series was obviously me hitting the milestone age of 30.
Yay! Someone's a big girl. Congratulations.
Yeah, so I think I just want to know what your journey was like in your 20s and, going into your 30s, how that was different and how it is different as well now that, you're also in your 40s.
Okay, so, that's a brilliant question. I remember that you had tried at some point when we got talking, you had almost asked me the question. I was like, So I just thought, let me talk about this in a more authentic format. So 20s, when was I even 20? How about that? How about that? I think that the most remarkable thing, obviously I was in uni, right? And I think I was forming at that time. So let me just take you back to, remember I said that I grew up introspecting. Now I know what that is, but before I just thought I was just living in a trance of some sort because things were happening and I was not really a part of it. I wasn't really making any decisions. I wasn't really a part of my own life, if that makes any sense. I was just like observing.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to uni, I already knew, okay, I don't like this or I like that. I was trying to make sense of things, and I think that my formative years, to be honest, was about when I was like in university.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And that was like, you were what, 20?
No, I was about maybe like 18, 19.
Okay.
You know, getting to that. So when I say university, is like when we are out of like in the Nigerian system, secondary school, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, because I had such strong values from growing up, I had a set way. So I was that person that wasn't dating for fun.
Yeah.
I was dating looking at you like, can you be the one? So I wasn't playing.
Yeah. As with I think most Nigerian girls
that's not
do
true.
that.
That's
you
not
date
true.
with the intention
It's a lie. Some people are
this
like, well, let's just have fun. What's happening? It's never that deep.
Yeah.
So people are just, but I mean, I saw people that were completely incompatible. Looking at them and thinking, what are you guys doing together? But they were fine, you know.
Yeah.
I knew it was going nowhere. I mean, why was I bothered about such things at that age? Come on, you're just experiencing life. Like, have fun. So I wasn't really having fun. I was having fun, but I was doing it almost intentionally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So 18, 19, 20s. I remember my 21st birthday. So I think that's when I know that, okay, I'm in my 20s. I already had who was my friend and who wasn't. I wasn't all over the place. I think that growing up really plays a vital role in who you become.
Yeah.
Right? And you have the opportunity to shift things or change things when you become aware, when you become conscious. And what makes consciousness is when you start asking yourself questions, why? So I think that for me, my why started early. I always asked, why is this person this, or what is that? You know, so it helped me to put things in place. In my 30s, I was already married. I got married at 25.
Wow.
Yeah. Obviously.
Wow. I think we need to have a conversation about that. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
My goal was to be married at 24, done with having kids at 30. But guys, here we are. Here we are.
Oh my goodness. I think that for me, to be honest, my dad started telling me very mature things early. I would say that I had eyes early. My eyes were sharp and I could see far. And I was that person that always had a solution.
Yeah.
So I'm leading you to how I am, where I am now. And that is just that. I think that all of my life prepared me to be who I am. And I think that in each of us, for all of us, we are each gifted differently.
Yeah.
And when you begin to identify what are your life's giftings or what are your life's abilities or skills, and you take the intentional drive to grow, then you mature and you evolve into your next self.
I'm going to stay on the topic of marriage just for a little bit. I know that that's kind of going, you know, off a bit off course, but I think that it's very, very important. Did you think that you had like mentors and people to kind of talk to that were able to kind of guide you in some way to kind of figure things out along the line when maybe things got challenging? You know, people say keep things within your family, don't say anything. What do you think about that?
So this is very interesting because this is one topic I hardly talk about.
Yeah.
Because I believe that it's so personal. Oh my goodness. It's such a personal journey.
Yeah.
There are some basic things, but you know, it's such a, like I said, all of my life prepared me to be who I am. And I, unlike so many people, started out early in many things because I feel like I had almost 10 years ahead. You know, the things that I already was exposed to, things that I knew helped me to be more mature than typical, you know, people my age. So one of the things that I think that stood out for me, and also because my dad was, I mean, when I first met my husband, like he was some guy in uni that came to see one girl in my room.
He's a bloke, by the way, guys.
Some guy that came to see one girl in my room. So I wasn't even really like, who is this? You know, but we met again after he'd left uni. I was still in uni. And it wasn't my first choice, to be honest, because I just thought I had so many other things in my mind. But my dad sat me down and told me, you know, as a woman, there's certain things to be looking out for in a man. First thing is vision. Yeah. So where is he going? Yeah. Like, what is this all about? Is it, oh, fine girl, I like you, let's marry? Or what exactly? What does he have a vision? What is he projecting? Yeah. And does that vision, is that something that you look at and say, you know what, I could align with this. Yeah. This works for me. Right? And then there was the whole issue of kindness. And just being able to to be selfless.
Yeah.
And I think that is, especially in today's generation, like I hear some things.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
You guys serious? Hey, so that's why you guys fought. I don't know. You know, there's some things you hear and you're like, hey, is it that deep? You know. Yeah. But selflessness in the sense that, you know, just being able to do things for other people and not really think about yourself. It was something that I saw very early. And I would say that, you know, because also there are just certain standards you must have as a woman. There are just certain standards. You cannot be treated anyhow. You cannot be spoken to anyhow. You cannot, I mean, the person, how does this person treat other people around them? What is, you know, there are just so many things that are signs and signals that we ignore. Yeah. And I wouldn't say that I got lucky because it's actually not luck.
You were intentional.
Oh, it was intentional.
And there was vision. He had a vision and he had a direction.
You know what? Let's stop kidding, right? Yeah. There are things that you, even as a man, I honestly today, because I'm such a guy's girl, I feel like men have so much more to deal with. I sincerely feel for them. It goes both ways. What do you really want and why? Yeah. And so when you find what you think that you want, you have to be able to look at also, there's so many P's and so many things that you look at it at the extreme. If this thing were at its extreme level, would I be able to handle it? Would I be able to cope? Whether it's a good or a bad thing. Yeah. So if this person has major like anger issues, what could be the extreme of it? Would I be able to? How would I go? If this person just has this ghosting type, or this person is just always withdrawn, if it goes to the very extreme, can I handle it? Are these things that we can talk about, we can deal with? I can see you working through them, or are these things I want to ignore? So there's just so many things in that pocket. You said something about mentors and things like that. Well, I grew up knowing, first of all, that the first things first is you don't discuss certain things with family, because family is family, right? So they would, even though they say that I'm going to, you know, be objective, they're going to root for you. Yeah. So there are certain things, so you can discuss it to a particular point. There are some things that you just don't say. You just cannot say it, except of course it's life-threatening. Like, okay, somebody's hitting you, no. That one you better run. Yeah. But you know, things that you know that they are deep-rooted issues that are between you guys. Yeah. Right? Family is not the best place to say it, because especially you can't tell your mom or tell your dad. They will settle it for you, but
you've changed their perception of
perceptive. You know, they're just things that in other situations they may not be able to be objective where you probably need them. Yeah. So those things carry to therapy, carry to professionals, right? I mean, I'm grateful. Honestly, you guys have so much now than we did back. I was telling somebody that I can't believe that when I was dating there were no phones. This is me going way into all of this talk that I hardly talk about.
It's very important for people to know, especially young people.
Is that you evolve and that you grow. So the person that you married is not necessarily the person that you grow into or go into. I mean, you have to decide to adapt to become compatible again. It's like starting all over again. You know, love is never really enough. It is marriage is a decision that you make over and over again. It's like with each new phase of change or evolve, you're saying to yourself, okay, I do. Again, okay, who are you now? Yeah. Check with yourself, who are you now? Who do I need to be? Who am I and who can we be for each other? You know, how can we support each other? It's such a collaboration, a partnership. And it's really about life and life's purpose, life's goals, life's intention for each of you.
Well, that's really, really powerful. I think from just this conversation, what I've picked out that has kind of just been ringing in my ear is exploring extremes, like really, really looking at this particular thing, how far can it go and how much can I take, and then making a decision based on that. I think that's very, very profound. In the first episode, I talk about why. When you start to ask the why is when you start to move into a new dispensation. Oh yeah. Why am I here? Yeah. What is my purpose? What exactly am I here for? Am I here to just do a 9 to 5? Am I here to make an impact? What will the world know me for? I think that's really, really, really important and crucial. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. You know, every time I have opportunity to talk about the term or the word purpose, I am I take it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying this. So a lot of people expect purpose to be one grand thing that happens on them. My purpose is to lead this. My purpose is to whatever. Your purpose is that. Purpose actually finds you. You don't find purpose. Purpose finds you when you are working and when you are doing whatever. It's always a case of, the question will always be, what do I have in my hands? What do I have in my hands right now, and what am I doing with it?
Yeah.
That is purpose. So you may start off in a 9 to 5. Everything adds up. So for instance, I started off in a 9 to 5, and I will forever be grateful for those days, because I believe that those are the things, or the times, or the seasons that shaped me. Right? So starting off in a 9 to 5, what are you doing with that 9 to 5?
Yeah.
How are you growing it? How are you on that job? Are you accountable? Are you somebody that can be counted on? Are you someone that, all of your skills, all of your abilities, are you working it?
Are you present?
Are you being practical?
Yeah.
Are you showing up? So who are you?
Yeah.
Like, it can't be a case of, Temi works with me. Tell me about, she's no way. You have to leave a part of you everywhere you go.
I love that.
You've got to.
Yeah.
You've got to be memorable. That's why you're here. So when I met you, what did you live with me? What did I go away with? And that is purpose. Purpose finds you in those moments, because guess what? Somebody's thinking of something and they'll say, I met somebody the other day. Let me call this person. Purpose just found you. Just found you because you showed up as yourself. If you were in somebody else's skin, trying to, keep up appearances, purpose can't find you because it won't recognize you. So it is that purpose always finds you in the place of working, in the place of showing up as you. Having a first child, to be honest, I didn't even know I had postpartum depression. And it's with the advent of technology and knowledge space and the internet that that, that's what that thing was.
Right.
I felt like I was crazy in some moments, right? But it wasn't anything I really explained or could explain. I just know that I didn't want to do anything. Right? I wasn't feeling myself. I mean, this is me when I started off in the marketing comms industry, started off in PR, experiential marketing, brand activation, going on activations, doing all sorts of things, having a first child and just pausing and wondering, what's happening? Nappies today, food tomorrow. I mean, I was just out of myself, and I had so many opportunities that I turned down. Now, fast forward to when I turned 30, I had another child, and I remember I'd gone abroad to have a child, and it was the first time I was having to take care of a baby myself. I thought I would die.
Oh my
It was hell and high water. It was it was something, But I remember being treated a certain way and making a decision not to take it. I just decided, what, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this myself. And that started a revolution in my personal journey. My personal journey to destination next. Like, okay, who do I need to be now, and what levels of supremacy, what levels of power, what levels of presence do I need to rise into? So what can I take and what can I not take? Who can I be with and who can I not be with? Where should I, where should I be, really? What are the conversations I can or cannot have? Do you understand? So I just started saying to myself, okay, you know what? Once I hear it and it's coming, I'm like, not for me. So I wouldn't engage. I stopped engaging on things that didn't add value. I stopped, and then I started searching more. So on my job, for instance, I was working in experiential marketing, and I started asking myself questions. Why am I put on this premium accounts? Why am I being told to handle this when there's a challenge somewhere? Why am I the one on these things? And I started saying, it's because you have these values. It's because you have these skills. I said, okay, so how can I grow my skills?
Yeah.
And then I moved into image consulting because I was like, you can do this. But before I did that, who do I need to be? How do I get there? I started taking courses. I went to the US, took a course in image consulting, corporate image consulting, started training, all of those things. I just started taking those steps when I started asking myself the why questions.
Why? Yeah,
like
absolutely.
why?
Absolutely. That's really profound. I also wanted us to talk about identity. Right. So for those that don't know, Auntie Wailubi is an identity coach. And her Instagram name is...
Identity.
Exactly. So I wanted us to talk a bit about identity.
Right.
What do you think are the fundamentals in defining your identity and personal brand? What is important? I know you've touched on a couple of things, but what would you say is fundamental?
So years ago, I moved away from the concept of personal branding because it is no longer, personal branding is dead, to be honest. It is no longer the era of personal branding, it is now the era of inner wisdom. In the sense that everybody sort of like knows, okay, personal branding, let me appear this way. It's now become packaging or putting things together. But inner wisdom is something that has to do with your inner voice. And finding your inner voice is sitting with yourself and introspecting and saying, who am I? How does it, what are my talents, what do I have? And how does it make room for me in this world? It is that there is no room in the world except as your gifting, your talent, your ability, your skills makes it for you. So it is that, what do I have? Meaning that, what are my highest ideals? What do I come to the world with? What do I have as giftings or abilities? And when I realize what these things are, how am I able to grow and expand all of these things such that it announces me anywhere I am? That is the concept of identity. It is that, and then there's the what I call the origin story. So you started off asking me, how did I grow up?
Yeah.
There's an origin story that you have nothing. You have nothing to do with it. Like, you just land on the face of the earth and you're told, mommy, daddy, or no mommy, no daddy, or sister, brother, or no sister, no brother.
Yeah.
It is that those things, you take them with you as lessons and as gems on your way. Not as things that, I mean, terrible, terrible things happen to people in that, but that is an origin story.
Yeah.
And it is to find how that leads you into the world. So those are your origin story is like your difference. Like, we can never, there's not one person, even in the same family, that has the same origin story. Born to the same parents, but having the same, a different experience.
Yeah.
Right? So it is knowing that all of my life prepares me to be who I am. And to take each one of those things as lessons. And not as things that you despise or things that cause you so much, shame. It is that you embrace them. It's in your past, but what do you do with them?
Yeah.
It's how you take those things and evolve with them. So I believe that the concept of identity has so much more than just branding. Or, there's the spiritual aspect and there's the whole religious aspect, which spirituality and religion are completely different things. So the very source of essence of who we are is the God in us, which is, a life or a breath or something that connects you to the other person. That is not religion. So the fact that I always see people say to me, like, for instance, how can you say that you can get along with everyone? And I say, you know what? There's a part of you in everyone. And there's a part of everyone in you. It is that it is a decision, a choice that you have to make. So where do we connect? Is it that, I'm able to find a rhythm? If I need to get something from you, I will be able to get it right. So what are you saying, that you can't interact? We're not saying be friends. We're just saying that do not think of yourself in isolation. It is that we are all related.
Yeah.
There's a part of me in you. So identity is a whole kettle of fish. It is who you need to be per time. And so, I did the whole, I have a certification in behavioral psychology, MBTI, Myers-Briggs type indicator, and we talk about the 16 personalities. And when I teach, I say, see, there are 16 known personalities, but you are all of them. How about that? Oh yeah. You are all of them. It's just that your preference over life, over experiences, makes you more, should I say, dominant in one area than the other. But you are able to switch and to move and that's the area of human connection and inner capacity that I teach, or I work with teams and people on, to say that, you see, you are never really stuck, you're never really without options, because you are whole. There's a whole combination. The human mind, or the human, is one of the most, it's one of the most, should I say, mind-blowing species on this planet, on any planet, whatever planet that we find ourselves, is that, we are bigger, wider, deeper than we permit ourselves to consider. So we cannot really talk about, I've touched on what identity can be, but we cannot really talk on identity in isolation. And when I say personal branding, like I said to you, I don't use the term personal branding because there's so much more. Branding is like putting things together. It's like, I would do branding for corporate organizations. Personal branding, I would say inner wisdom. Find your voice and be able to articulate that voice and see how it makes room for you in the world.
When I was thinking about doing this podcast, I asked myself the question, who are you? I talked about how I was on Instagram and someone asked me, if you walk into a room and you meet someone, who do you introduce yourself as? And I couldn't answer the question because I would basically say my name is Temi and I work at XXX company. Because I always thought that was my identity, right? But then that also added to me thinking about, this whole purpose thing. Who do you show up as? How do you introduce yourself to people? I mean, you don't have to do it all the time, but who does YBB show up as?
I think I show up as the shifter. And shifter in the sense that I am able to shift minds, the mind shifts, life shifts, cause introspection, cause you to pause and to consider. So that is who I am at the core of me, the essence of who I am. However, I always teach that you introduce yourself with attributes and introduce yourself with, I can be kind. I'm gracious, typically always gracious. I'm not a pushover, of course, but I am feisty. So it's easier to introduce yourself as you know yourself. So what do you like? What don't you like? What sets your heart on fire? What are the things that dampen? So those are basic, basic pointers to identity and who you are as a person. And then when you start getting into values, what is important to you? What do you want to live with everyone? And so when you are able to get into those conversations with self, it helps you on a journey of self-realization or self-discovery, self-awareness, consciousness, and presence. So I do understand how who am I can be one of the most difficult questions ever. But that is also part of what I teach and what I work with individuals and also organizations on. So someone was asking me, do you just work with only people? I say I work with teams as well. So for instance, on a role, so maybe you have, what is the aim? It's always about vision, right? What do you want to see? And if your objective is, I want to do this and this and this and that, who do you need on this role? So you create an identity of the person that you're looking for. And when that person shows up, there's the clash of personal identity and the business identity. So how do you bridge the gap? Is by finding the roles or how they become useful. So for instance, I may work with a team and realize, you are the bridge. You always are the team. You always help with. So you may actually be in accounting, but you may operate as a bridge, like in the team build. So there are things that I would give or assign to you because that is who you are naturally, so that we can align in identity. So again, I'm saying, who am I? Who am I is what I bring to the world. What gift? Yeah. So remember, we're gifted differently. So I'm gifted differently from you, and how do our gifts interact to help us to navigate in the world and to make an impact and influence other people?
Right. Before I go to my last question, let's just talk a bit about what you do. I know that I touched on that in your bio.
Yeah.
But for people that kind of want to get in touch, take a training or a program of some sort with you, I know that you also have a series that you do. So let's just talk about that and how people can get value.
Okay. My work. Thank you so much for saying that, Temi. Thank you. So my work as an identity coach is different from the work that I do as an executive director in Finchglow. I don't say the work that I do in Finchglow enough, and I said to myself, you know what, this is that season. I need to show up as this person because sometimes people are not able to marry that. So because my background is in marketing communications, I'm able to see clearer than most people can. See clearer in terms of detailing, in terms of what needs to be said, in terms of messaging, in terms of consciousness, and in terms of presence. How do I want to show up? In what way? So it's not enough that, okay, I'm gifted this way and I want to show up how, right? How and to who, right? So because I always say to people, you don't always have to be So there's presence and there's being present. I can be present in a place, but my presence doesn't have to be there.
Yeah.
So I don't always have to, flaunt myself and do, except it's asked for, it's requested for. I see that there's a genuine need for it, in which case value. Value is shown. So you don't just throw yourself everywhere or just appear in everything, because then you also lose, self-confidence.
Yeah.
Right. So what do I do as an identity coach? I work primarily with people who are in transition, life transitions. So whether you're transiting on a job, you're transiting in a career, you're transiting as a person, you're transiting in a season. So who am I, but who do I need to be? And what do I need to do? How do I get there? How do I navigate? And I primarily have, I had a group coaching program called Magnetism 10X. And Magnetism 10X helps you to identify where you are, but gives you the skills and the, the tools to appear as your next higher self. And then I have a retreat, which is called Find Your Next Self. It's typically travel.
It was a retreat I was going to talk about. Yeah.
Find Your Next Self. And I typically host it, at the beginning of the year. This time, we're not hosting at the beginning of the year. We're hosting about me, because 2023 was a different year for most people. We're hosting it about me. And it's typically to unplug from your regular life and just reimagine and, re-strategize. And so you can reappear on your own city. So that's typically what I do as an identity coach. In a nutshell.
Yeah, and this retreat is for men and women.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. I work
and it's in a different destination.
Yeah, every time.
Right. Where is the next one taking place?
Zanzibar.
Amazing.
Yay. Zanzibar. Are you done with all of these questions, or do you want me to say anything else?
I'm not done.
Oh my goodness.
One more thing. What would you tell your younger self?
Oh,
yeah.
This question, I know it. What would I tell my younger self? I would tell my younger self, it's okay, learn your own way. Yeah, find your own, foot. Like learn your way. It's okay to make mistakes. This is the best time to do it. One foot in front of the other, and find your way. Learn your way.
Amazing. Leave a question for the next guest.
A question?
Yes.
Who are you?
Wow. So basically, this person is not going to see this coming.
Who are you? Let's do it.
Goodness. Amazing. I love that. I was just like, who am I? Thank you so much. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for joining me on Navigating Purpose with Temi. Till I see you again. Thank you. Bye.